everybody, I'm Selena Brilla, and this is DIY Live, Huntsville, Alabama's YouTube channel dedicated to capturing the underground. And today we are here at SMC Studios in Huntsville, Alabama, of course, because this is Huntsville's channel, with Mr. Scott Clayton. How are you doing today?
Not too bad.
Okay. Well, let's just get to know each other a little better, Scott. We've known each other for a few years, you know, in music and passing and all of that stuff. But let's talk about your studios here. How long has SMC Studios existed? I
think this is the 18th year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's been in several locations, but yeah, this month I think's 18th.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your background in recording. Like, how did you learn to do all of this and then make it into your own place?
Well, I started way back when I was a wee tyke.
Oh.
Actually, I started in TV when I was like junior in high school.
Oh, nice.
And when you're working at a small TV station, you do everything. You know, you learn to do the lighting, you learn to do the TD, the technical direction, you learn to do the cameras, you learn to do editing, you learn all that stuff. And I did that for a little while, and I met a guy that owned a radio station, and he wanted me to come work for him on the air.
Oh, cool.
For a little while. So, you know, I was still in school sometimes, and then when I got out of school, I was working at a real job at Redstone and working Saturday nights and Sunday morning shift at a radio station, doing mostly on air, but sometimes production and stuff like that. So that, you know, I enjoyed doing it, but family, kids, and all that stuff came along, and I sort of dropped that off and concentrated on my real job.
So you had a radio show. What was the name of your radio show?
I don't think I had it. It was just a Friday night shift or Saturday night shift. And I know I got in trouble a lot because I didn't play the playlists. I brought my own music in.
Sweet. I mean, if you get that opportunity, right? Represent
yourself.
yourself.
The owner didn't usually listen to his station, so I only got caught a few times.
Nice.
But
what kind of music did you like to play?
Really?
Yeah.
It was.
We're getting to know you.
Yeah,
better.
This was like, you know, and this was a long time ago. This was in the late '70s. I mean, you know, whatever. You know, it was the harder stuff like AC/DC, and you know, and then the more album-oriented stuff, like like I said, I just brought my collection in. So there was everything from, you know, Pink Floyd through from Kiss to, you know, to whatever was like, you know, Gary Wright, whatever was like top 40 at the time. As long as it wasn't pop, I didn't really play that or any country or any of that stuff. But it was rock.
Okay.
But yeah, and then after that, I like I said, worked my regular job for the government most of my life, but I played in bar bands. So ended up doing, you know, when you're playing a bar band, you end up, whether you want to or not, running sound, running lights and all that stuff, just because that's part of it. And then I got disabled. I got hurt on the job, had to have a spinal fusion. So I was used to working a lot, playing in bands and all that, and I suddenly wasn't able to do that anymore. And I thought, well, I'm going to build me a little studio just to play around in. And it got bigger and bigger, and a couple of levels and more rooms, and it got to be out of hand. And of course, what happens is your friends go, hey, I got this song. Think you could record me? Because it was just for me messing around. And I go, yeah, sure. And then it just sort of grew and grew. And I moved into a commercial facility in Hazel Green. I think you...
I've been there. Yeah, I was there. I went to a party there. It was really fun. Which was, you know,
I don't know, 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
Commercial, you know, the whole commercial realm is a different thing. Taxes and overhead and everything. Utilities are way more for the same amount. Anyway, it just became unfun. And so then I sort of semi-retired from doing that, built my own little studio, and this is the 4th incarnation and the last one.
I'm not willing to do this again.
Not moving ever again. Unless the guy takes me out in the gurney, I think maybe that's it, because I don't. But yeah, and I just mainly work with folks that I've worked with before. So people I like their music. I pretty much know them that way. It's sort of a lazy way because, you know what to expect.
Right.
But when you get older, I don't know. It tends to make it not fun a lot of times when you run into problems, and I just like to pretty much stick with, you know, music I like and people I like. So.
it's great that you're able to do that, to be like, this is the music I like, and these are the people I like to be around, and these are the ones I want to work with, and you don't have to do things.
Right. It gives you a certain amount of freedom. You got to watch it not to become arrogant and because that can sort of move over to that spot to where it's like, I don't have to do this and whatever. But yeah, I think it allows me to do, plus it allows me to, it might not be fair maybe sometimes, I think, to some of the other studios, but it allows me to, if a new band comes in and they can't really afford the rates, and I obviously I like them already anyway, otherwise I wouldn't have thought about working with them.
Right.
And I go, okay, well, what can you afford? Let's just work something out, and that also gives bands that you normally wouldn't hear.
Love that.
Them getting a recording at a certain level, they would be stuck staying at home, and recording it themselves and whatever. But
right. But instead, they can come here and get it professionally done at a rate that's affordable to them. That's awesome.
And the deals with bands rehearsing too. That's sort of that's become. I can tell that COVID, at least from the band and the venue's perspective, is coming out because the bands are starting to rehearse again.
Yeah.
And I have it started off being, I don't have anybody booked today, so if you guys want to rehearse.
Right.
That's fine. I mean, nothing's going on. I can still work in there, and they can rehearse. That's where that started, and it got to be where there was less and less places for people to rehearse.
Right.
Guitar Center used to. They shut. There was several other places, and now I'm almost have bands in here every day. There's like one day I don't have bands.
I was looking at your calendar earlier.
Sunday I got 2 bands, so I mean, it's I can tell it's ramping up, and that's a good
great
thing I think for everybody. But
absolutely. So how many records do you think you've recorded here? Do you have any idea? Do you keep track of that at all?
I mean, there's some on the wall in there, but that's not. I have no idea. A lot.
Okay.
I mean, not a lot compared to like.
Oh well, sure. I mean, this is
Eddie Kramer or somebody, but
right.
I mean, I've done quite a few, and some really good ones that I'm proud of. Some, I'd like to. Years ago, I'd probably like to go back and go, can we do that? Redo that?
Right.
But yeah, there's some talented people in the area, as you know.
Right.
Very talented. So
Huntsville does not lack in musicians and musicianship and talent. That's for sure.
And being involved in it some, and I bet you probably feel the same way too. You sort of feel like you have a grasp of the talent.
Oh, sure.
But I don't, because I continually hear and see people that I'm amazed at and
That's
go,
true.
like, wow, where have these guys been? I've been here for years and I haven't heard of them, and these guys are amazing. Some guy's been sitting at home practicing, and all of a sudden he starts a band and you've never heard of him, and he's.
Those are the best nights, aren't they, Scott? Yeah. Like you go to a show and I've never heard of or seen that band before, and then they take the stage and you're like, oh.
Yep.
This is amazing.
Usually for me, it's like I'm going to see a band, or one of my clients, or somebody I know, or that, and then opener band, and
that's
matter of fact, I think that guy right there is in one of them, isn't it?
Right?
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw them.
Yeah, and I was like, whoa, this takes me back to Kill 'Em All and stuff like that.
They're playing that old metal that I grew up on. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I was there.
So.
What else do we need to know about SMC Studios? Like, how should people get in touch with you if they want? Well, you kind of pick and choose who you want. So, if somebody wanted to, would they have to just
hit me up on Facebook? That's the best way to do it. I do all my business on Facebook. That way, it works out better for everybody. I can check them out.
I do a lot.
They already know. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
You sort of, now you don't really, I mean.
Emails aren't used as much. Like Facebook is a very easy way.
And it's just a way to sort of check them out a little bit, too. You can listen to some of their stuff, and they can. And then usually what I tell them is, hey, I like some of your stuff. If you want to do something, come by, and we'll hang out and talk about it and see how see
what
how
the rapport between the two of
because that's a lot of this, the personal interplay, that communications and how you guys get along, because music is such a art thing, and there's a technical side of it too, but if you're uptight or if you're whatever, that comes across real, and I don't want that. I don't want to be all upset. Way back in the day, I'm on the other side of the glass in the studio, sitting on the drum set, recording, nervous as hell. Big studio, you know, and I don't really know what I'm doing. I mean, I've never been in a studio before. This was a long time ago, and the engineer was great, and the place was great, and the sounds were better, but I felt like I should be in church or in some kind of meeting with my boss.
Oh, no.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you couldn't smoke, you couldn't drink in there, and you know, you felt like you just, I don't know, you felt really like, you know, like you're meeting, I don't know, it just didn't feel like, and I thought at the time, I was like, if I ever do this, if I'm ever on the other side, sitting there in the console, I want to make it to where, you know, like I'm going over to your house, hanging out, and then we just start jamming a little bit or playing something, or it's real laid back.
And that's got to be reflected in what you record.
I think so. I think it makes a lot of difference now.
Yeah,
you know,
it has to.
But you'll have to ask some of my clients about that. But they tell me that's the vibe they get, and that's what I'm trying to put out. But be professional, you know. I don't want.
Oh,
you
sure.
know, but anyway.
Yes. So when you were in a band, you played drums. Okay. So that I didn't know. In my head, I thought you were like a guitarist or something.
Well, I mean, I can play guitar,
drums.
but you know, I don't play guitar well enough to want to. You know, I'm like,
Right.
if I'm in a band with, I don't want to be in a band with me playing guitar. Okay?
No,
it's just
but
like,
playing drums is
you know,
good.
back in the day, I was okay. You know, my son Scotty, you know, and I'm spoiled that way now. If I want drums done now, I don't want to play him. I'll call him over to do them.
And Scott's a great drummer.
So
yeah.
you know, he's one of the best I've worked with. So it's that, you know, it's real lazy there too. But I used to love to play. You know, we played, you know, several times a month. And back then, venues booked 2 nights usually. I don't know if you remember that pattern, but you know, a lot of venues didn't just do one-nighters. If they booked you, they wanted you there Friday and Saturday night.
Oh wow, interesting. No, I missed all of that time because.
Yeah, of course we're talking way back in ancient times, but you know,
so far away.
yeah, bone knives and bear skins and all that stuff, you know.
Oh my, and you could bring those to bars then, huh? Yes.
Yeah.
All right, well, we've been doing this thing where it's like if you had 5 words, in 5 words, and you wanted to represent yourself in SMC Studios, what would you say in 5 words?
Wow. You should ask me this like before. And I know I've seen you do this before too, and I should have been prepared. You know, I always say music is my religion, and it's not a cliche. It is really, that is literally my religion. So, you know, I would say I'm very religious, and music's my religion.
There you go.
You know, that's probably the main thing that I do. I like things to be laid back, you know, no drama, no that kind of thing. So, I think I'm pretty easygoing. I usually don't get upset. If I do, it scares me. So most of the time I'm fairly laid back. I enjoy musicians. I like talking to them, and, you know, that kind of stuff. So that goes back to being my religion. Everything revolves around that. I'm not sure what else. I got a lot of kids and grandkids, so I should mention them.
And animals upstairs, too.
God,
when I came to visit, I was like, you've got a little zoo back here.
There's a menagerie in there, literally.
Yes.
So, yes.
Yes, there's all different kinds of animals.
About 20 or 30 different animals, yeah. Some of them, the turtles we have, they'll outlive all of us. 150 years they'll live, too. Yeah.
You better have it written down and get some at some point.
Well, I'm planning on, like, you know, getting in stasis pod or something, living longer.
Well, I think it's super cool that you're able to run your studio in the way that makes you happy. That's, you know, when you can live your life the way you want to live it.
When you get older, to me, the older you get, the more you realize that, you know, a lot of things don't matter. The stuff that you worry about and get upset about, and, you know, that stuff really doesn't matter. And a lot of it you can't affect. You can't change anyway. You know, so I think you know, you just need to do things. I mean, come on, you know, within reason, you know, but you need to do things that make you happy. Life's really short, and you know,
way too short to be spending it, wasting it, being upset and angry.
Right, yeah, you know, don't be a hater.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having Matt and I here at your studio today. I'm Selena Brilla. This is Scott Clayton. We are at SMC Studios. You can look them up on Facebook. Look Scott up if you want to talk to him, and he'll decide if he wants to talk to you. Thank you, everybody.
That sounds so arrogant.
No, but it's not like that. But I mean, I know you. I know that you're not. I mean, yes.
Yeah, okay.
But whatever. It can sound as it is, but still. See if they'll fit into your happiness.
Right.
Yeah. See if they'll fit in.
Well, thanks, guys. I want to thank you for coming by.
Thank you for having us. This has been really fun. It's nice to be here again.
Yep.
Yes. All right. Thank you. I already said the Selena Brillo part, right? Okay.
Cool. You don't say over and out or something like that?
No, I just usually say thank you.
Do you